On to chapter 8, titled Halftime. A letter from Miss Junie B. Thursday. Dear First Grade Journal, yesterday when I got home from school, Daddy was waiting for me, and he had bought me a juggle book at the bookstore. It was for children 6 and 6 and up is my exact age. Daddy and I read each page very carefully. Then I did the whole entire book step by step, and what do you know? After I got done, I still couldn't juggle. I am getting fed up with this stupid talent. Daddy said maybe I will learn it tomorrow. That man is just kidding himself. I am doomed. From Junie B, first grader. I closed my journal and I watched the clock for the rest of the afternoon because I just wanted to get home and practice some more. Daddy came home from work to help me again. He tried to help me juggle for hours and hours, only the most I could ever juggle was two dumb lemons. And 2 dumb lemons is not even juggling. 2 dumb lemons is just throwing lemons in the air and catching them. I'm not going to school tomorrow, and I mean it. Another letter from Miss Junie. Friday. Dear First Grade Journal, I am at school. I do not know what went wrong. Let's try that again. Trying not to giggle. I do not know what went wrong because I'm certain that she's very upset and indignant right now and I'm laughing and that's not appropriate. Okay. On account of this morning, I told Mother I broke my leg. And then I limped all over the house. And the next thing you know, I was on the bus. I am wearing the halftime costume Mother made for me. My hat is made out of an oatmeal box. I look like a nitwit. From Junie B, first grader. I glanced my eyes all around the room. The children in room 1 looked very cute. The kickball players were wearing matching red and white shirts. All of their shirts said, "We are room number 1." The cheerleaders matched each other too. They had on red shirts and white sweaters. I looked at Sheldon. His daddy's band jacket was way too giant, and his band hat came over his ears. He looked like a nitwit too. I put my head down on my desk very glum. My oil box hat fell on the floor. May started to laugh. I hope that doesn't happen when you juggle today, Junie B, she said, very meanish. She raised her eyebrows. You are going to juggle, aren't you? I didn't answer that girl. And so I turned my head to the wall and I closed my eyes and I wished to turn invisible. I wished and wished with all my might. Then finally I opened my eyes again and I turned back to May and I stuck out my tongue at her. She stuck out hers right back. I did a sigh. Bad news. I wasn't invisible. At 10 o'clock, we went to the softball field. There were a million jillion parents there, I bet. Mother and Daddy were sitting on the first row of the bleachers. Grandpa and Grandma Miller were sitting right next to them. They were holding my baby brother named Ollie. He was mooing. All of them waved at me. I did not wave back because I was still trying to be invisible, of course. Me and Sheldon sat down together. He looked at the people in the bleachers. Then he quick turned around again, and he pulled his band hat over his face, and he giggled very nutty. Please stop doing that, I said. You are just calling attention to ourselves. Sheldon put his cymbals on his head. I rolled my eyes at that dumb guy. Then I hid my face in my skirt, and I didn't watch the tournament. There were 2 games going on at once. Room 1 was playing room 2, and room 3 was playing room 4. I could hear the cheerleaders cheering real loud. Room 1 was winning, I think. I listened to the cheering for a long time. Then all of a sudden, I heard lots of whistles and yelling. I looked up to see what was happening, and oh no. Room 1 had just won the first game, and now it was time for halftime. Mr. Scary came over to us. I tried to hide behind Sheldon, but Mr. Scary already saw me. He said it is perfectly normal for me to be nervous, but I should just relax and try to enjoy myself. This is going to be a day you'll never forget, he told me. My skin did a shiver. Yeah, only that's exactly what I'm afraid of, I said. After that, Mr. Scary took me and Sheldon by our hands and he walked us to the field. My legs felt like silly string. Mr. Scary went out to the microphone and he made an announcement to the people. Welcome to our halftime show, everyone, he said. While room 1 and 4 are resting for the final game of the tournament, 2 of my students will present some very special entertainment. He winked at me and Sheldon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am proud to present the musical genius of Sheldon Potts and the unique talents of Junie B. Jones. As soon as he finished, he pointed to me and Sheldon, and he gave us the signal to go. Sheldon did a whimper. He did not move. I looked at his face. It was the color of paste. Mr. Scary hurried over, and he gave Sheldon a nudge. Okay, you two, go, 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 he said. Take off. Very slow, I raised up my wood block, and I hit it with the drumstick real light. Tap. Louder, said Mr. Scary. You've got to play it louder, Junie B, and with a little bit of pep, okay? I took a big breath. Tap, tap, tap. Mr. Scary nodded. Yes, better, he said. I swallowed hard. Tap, tap, tap. Mr. Scary gave me a thumbs up. That's it, Junie B, that's it, he said. Keep it up. I kept it up. Tap, 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 tap. Then, pretty soon, my feet started tapping too, and they marched me right onto the field. I looked behind me. Sheldon was still standing on the sideline. His face looked even pastier. I ran back there and tugged on his arm. Come on, Sheldon, let's go, I said. Sheldon plopped down in the grass. No, I can't, he said. I made a fist at that boy. Oh, yes, you can, Sheldon. You've got to. This whole stupid show is your idea, and I'm not doing it by myself. After that, I helped Sheldon stand up, and I pulled him onto the field, and that's when the worstest thing of all happened, because room 2 started laughing their heads off at us. And it was the meanest laughing I ever heard. Sheldon froze very stiff. He stood there like a statue, and he wouldn't even budge. Then, all of a sudden, crash! He dropped his cymbals, and he ran across the playground as fast as a speedboat. One of the teachers ran after him, but Sheldon zoomed faster and faster. Then he ran behind the swing set, and he circled around the monkey bars, and he kept running and running till he was all the way behind the school. And what do you know? Sheldon never came back. Poor Sheldon. Chapter 9, and I believe this is our last chapter. It's titled Plops. Room 2 laughed even louder. Rooms 3 and 4 laughed too. I hated that mean noise. I hated it. Tears came in my eyes, and my nose started sniffling very much. I hanged my head so no one could see, and that's when I spotted them. Sheldon's cymbals. They were still lying on the grass right next to me. I quick picked them up, and I crashed them together so I wouldn't hear the laughing. And it worked, I tell you, it worked. I couldn't hear the laughing at all. That's how come I crashed them again and again and again until my arms got tired. And guess what? When I finally stopped, no one was even laughing anymore. I felt a little better. Cymbals are very enjoyable. After that, I stood in the middle of the field, and I rocked back and forth on my feet, very thinking, because I didn't know what to do next, of course. Just then I heard shouting. Ba-ring! Yelled a voice. Don't just stand there, do something, yelled a different voice. I looked up. The boys who shouted were being taken away by their teacher, but it was already too late. More tears came into my eyes. Mr. Scary started coming to get me. My brain began to panic because this was the stupidest halftime show I ever saw. The children started laughing again. They would be laughing at me for the rest of their life, probably. Then all of a sudden, my eyes glanced over to Sheldon's microphone, and what do you know? A brand new idea popped into my head. And it's called, Hey, Maybe I Could Sing a Song, just like Sheldon was going to do. I grinned real big. Yes, I could sing. The sun will come out tomorrow from the hit musical Annie, because I love that tune, I tell you. I hurried over to the microphone. Then I opened my mouth to sing, only I couldn't actually remember how that song started. Mr. Scary was getting closer. My brain panicked some more. Then, out of nowhere, I heard a plop. I looked down. Something had landed on the ground next to my boots. I looked closer. It was a flaky biscuit, I believe. Plop, plop, plop. Two more biscuits, and I started a small plum. Then suddenly there was another fuss in the stands, and two more kids were getting led away by their teacher. That's when I got it. That's when I figured out that those meanie kids had thrown food at me. And throwing food is the biggest insult you can ever do. At first, my face turned red as a tomato. Then I felt myself getting mad, and I got madder and madder. And then I picked up those biscuits, and I started to throw them back. Only at once my brain changed its mind. And instead of throwing them back, I put two of the biscuits in my right hand and I held the other biscuit in my left hand. And then I tossed them in the air one by one, exactly like my Juggle Book said to do. And then magic happened, I tell you. I did it. I really did. Because for just a few teensy seconds, I juggled those biscuits way high up in the air. I juggled them as perfect as I could. And I caught them too. I caught all three of those flaky guys. And then the whole entire bleachers started to clap and clap and clap. And then they cheered and cheered and cheered. And the sound of that noise was better than the bestest daydream I ever had. I did a bow. The people kept on clapping. I did another bow. Then I picked up Sheldon's cymbals and I marched right off that field. And guess what? It was the proudest darn moment of my life. The best day was a joy. The rest of the day was a joy. We had a happy party and I smiled till my cheeks hurt. Also, I wrote in my journal again. All right, this may be her last entry. Listen close. Friday afternoon, dear first grade journal, we won the tournament. Room 1 won the whole entire kickball tournament. And so hooray, hooray. Mr. Scary let us have a party for the whole rest of the day. And guess what? They found Sheldon hiding behind a bush because he got scared silly, apparently. And only finally he calmed himself down. And now he is back to himself, his regular nutty self. And guess what else? I'm not even mad at him for running away. On account of if Sheldon didn't run away, I never would have juggled, probably. Mother and Daddy hugged me at the party, and Daddy said I turned biscuits into lemonade. And that is a hoot, I tell you. And then Mother said the bestest thing of all, she said, today I was a star. And I really liked the sound of that. Yep, I really did. From Junie B, first grader. And that seems to be the end of our Junie B. Jones saga. Well, at least this installment of it. All right, till our next book.